From Hollywood, California, welcome to Reza Riffs with your host, Keith Reza.
Hi, how's it going?
Eric Roberts, how are you, buddy?
Doing, pal? Good to see you.
Good to see you. This is the second time we've seen each other over Zoom. This is
Who
great.
knows? Who knew?
Well, thank you so much for taking some time to talk to me. I really appreciate it. You gotta forgive me if I ask you questions you've already been asked, because I've tried to get you when you were releasing your book, The Runaway Train, The Story of Your Life. So I'm very fascinated by that.
Good. We want to talk about it. Because I would love to sell some books about myself.
Well, I wanted to ask you, because when celebrities usually have like a memorable book about them, they're either good or they're terrible, and yours is really good. And
Oh,
what,
thank you so much. I love
yeah,
hearing that from you.
yeah, but I mean, it's true. There's no, they're not in between. And I wanted to know, like, when did you wake up and say, all right, I'm gonna finally write this book? And how did you find the time? Because you're filming so many stuff. You know what I mean?
Those are great questions for me, dude. Look, I didn't want to write this book. I find biographies, unless they're about somebody in past tense, they're gone. To be redundant, to be self-involved, to be all kinds of things I don't like. And
Yeah.
so I'm never going to write a book while I'm alive. Come on, I'm not that pompous or egotistical, egomaniacal, or self-interested. I'm just not. But it was pressure from everybody, my friends, my 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 relatives, my friends of friends, my working people, publishers would call me. I mean, everybody, every day, it seemed like for about every day, close to 3 years, but all the time for 10 years. People said,
Yeah.
you have to write a book. And I'm saying, well, that's not going to happen. And until finally my wife comes to me, and my wife is my treasure. She's very, she has a genius IQ, and she's funny. And so
Yeah.
and she comes to me and she goes, honey, you have to write a book. I said, no, I don't mind. No, you have to write a book because people don't know what you are. You're this calm, quiet, cool cat. Everybody thinks you're insane. You have to write a book.
Yeah.
So it was her telling me I had to write a book that I wrote the book. So that's the answer to your first question about how I came to write it, because I didn't want to. I found it to be too self-involved for my own taste.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
but I did it. And why I'm kind of proud of it, very proud of it actually, is the fact that I didn't go by the old standard biography. I was born a poor child in a poor situation who had it hardest, and then I overcame and became famous, and I'm a great person who's kind to all mankind, and I'm rich and famous and powerful. And how do you do?
Right.
And so I didn't want to follow that format. I wanted to tell the truth, which I think people, it's such a cheap word because it's overused, but the truth is seldom used in these things.
Oh, yeah.
It's people's image of what they want to be the truth. And so I went out of my way to stay childlike honest. And my wife was my editor. So there you go.
Oh, that's so awesome. But you're right, because people are, everyone that, like, I think it's human nature. Everyone says like, "Oh, just tell me the truth." And then, like, if you're telling the truth, like, people lie usually to protect someone's feelings and stuff, but sometimes the truth does actually hurt. You know what I mean? So I think, like, that's why the truth is so beautiful, because people who say they want it and then you give it to them, it's like, "Whoa, I thought you wanted the truth."
Well, lie is such a horrible sounding word, but it's an instinct, it's a reaction, it's a defense. And I would
Yeah.
take pages to my wife, and she'd say, no, almost, but this and this and this is dressing. That's not what happened.
Yeah.
That's how you felt about what happened. And then when I came back to the old rule of thumb, you only see others through yourself.
Oh
You
yeah.
don't see anything through what you are and how you perceive. And when I came back to that rule of thumb, I learned how not to lie, how
Yeah.
not to embellish, how not to want it to be what I thought it could have been.
No, yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah. That's so cool. I mean, but like, what an accomplishment, because you've done 1,000 movies and 1,000 TV shows and stuff, but not a lot of people could say they've actually written a book. So I think like bravo to you, man, because that takes a totally different talent than acting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a whole different ball game. It's a lot more. What'd you say, baby? Personal. Yeah, it can be. My wife yelled in the other room. It's more personal. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
we love Eliza. I interviewed her a couple weeks ago and she was so great. She was so fun.
yeah. My wife is my prize. Like I said, and she's my best everything. And we don't, it's weird about our marriage. We're always together, and yet
Yeah.
and yet we stay married. I don't know how that happens.
Yeah. I don't think that's weird at all. That's how my mom and dad are. They're always together.
Yeah.
And like I think, oh my gosh, they I don't know how long you've been married, but they've been married since like before I was born. You know what I mean? So,
Well, we've been married 32 years. We've been
oh.
we've been kissing 33, but we've been married.
I find the love story that how you guys met just so fascinating, just on a plane, and she gave you your her number and you called, because a lot of people they probably wouldn't call, especially back then. They didn't have text messages, so you actually had to pick it up, ring the phone, you know what I mean, like the old style, like you know what I mean. So I think that's fascinating.
Well, the great part of that story is how when I did finally call her, a man answered the phone, hello, with a very deep voice. And I'm like, oh, what a shame. Can I speak to Eliza anyway? And he's like, who's calling? Eric, just a minute. And he's gone forever. But he
Yeah.
comes to the phone and we talk. Okay, but that guy goes to her and he says, telephone call. She goes, who is it? Eric. I don't know an Eric. He says, quote, it sounds like Eric Roberts. She goes, oh, I met him on the plane. She takes the call. Because she recognized my voice, she took the call. Otherwise, I would not have called back.
Yeah.
I was her babysitter, and that was Jeffrey Dean Morgan from Walking Dead.
Oh my God.
I owe
Did
him my marriage, dude.
Yeah. You know what's so funny is like it would have been funny is after he said, "Oh, it sounds like Eric Roberts," and Eliza's like, "All right, I'll take it," and then he would have been like, "Ask him if I could have an autograph." You know what I mean?
Well, Jeff had not acted at all then, so who knows?
Yeah. So another question I had about the book is, how many like I don't know the exact word. How many like transcripts did you finish before you sent it in? Like which one were you happy with, and how many times did you like have to push that delete button?
Well, it started very slow. It started page by page, by paragraph, by sentence, by paragraph, by page. It was like torture for everybody who knew
Yeah.
me. And but then my wife, motivated me to stay upbeat, honest, um, to not get into the gutter too deep. If I wanted to visit it, fine, but don't go wallow in it, kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I would go to her like a therapist and talk through what I'd written in the book, and she'd help me stay on the kind of track I was trying to stay on, just like a therapist does with your life. She was
Right.
for me in the book, and the wife, man, it's a great teamwork. And so that's how I got through it, basically. And it started slow, it got faster, and had these dips, and that I would go work, so I had these big holes. And
Yeah.
so it took 2 full years.
I feel like I need to get myself a wife so I could feel inspired. You know what I mean?
Well, I know a lot of guys are wise, but I got the best one.
Yeah. Well, no, because I write scripts, but I've been trying to write a book, and I've been trying to write this book for like 10 years, and I only know the title. Like I don't know anything else. And the title is How to Annoy Yourself to the Top. You know what I mean?
Nice, I love that.
That's
Well,
all
you
I
have to
got.
get a reader, and you have to get a reader who's honest with you, and they have to know you.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So in 10 years, you might have to read my first input and be like, Keith, I like it.
I love that.
Uh, okay, so let's jump in the movie business too. I wanted to ask, because you've been, you're a star forever, and like times have totally changed. Like one thing I wanted to ask you is like when you were starting, there is a movie star and then there's a TV star, and you couldn't like do both. But now it seems like movie stars can do TV stars.
Yeah, well, back in the old days, back in 1978, when I made my first movie,
Yeah,
in 1978, you were either a movie star or a TV star. You could there was no more. There were no both. There were people like Garner who were in both,
yeah,
but they weren't really movie stars. They were just movie names, but they were TV stars. So
yeah,
there were crossovers a little bit, but only hinting, not really there. But then TV became the force it always threatened to become, and it became what ruled the world. And the movies became too expensive and too hard to get to, and we
yeah.
had home entertainment. So we've lost, the movie and movie theater, except for special occasions and big families on a board Sunday. They're not everyday stuff anymore. We have it all at home, and so there's a lot more product. What was the question?
It's just like how like when you were starting, where like it was taboo to do TV, and now it seems like, you know, like
TV was beneath a movie star, yes,
yeah,
because it was fast and quick and cheap, and yeah, and it had this image. Only the image has shifted. We're now movies are, if you rely on movies, you're a snob, for Christ's sake. And if you rely on your TV, you're hip. That's just
yeah.
what, yeah.
Well, so like people who are my generation, they probably know you know, from Less Than Perfect, which is the show that like really got me into TV. And I actually met you at a taping once because my adopted uncle is Patrick Warburton, so we went to a
Oh,
tape.
cool.
Yeah, so we went to a taping and I met you and Andy Dick and Sarah Rowe, and I just thought it was just so fascinating because I remember you were filming the scene in your office and you kept messing up, and then you're like, all right, I'll do it again the right way. And you just kept like, it was just so funny. And I thought like that was like kind of the point of a sitcom thing, is just be funny, not necessarily storytelling, you know?
Well, your uncle, Patrick Warburton, had that job basically because I recommended him,
Oh
because
my God.
I never liked myself on that show. I thought I wasn't very good because my comedy timing is poor. I had never done a sitcom, and I was thrown into the mix with these great people like Andy Dick. Andy Dick is a perfect stand-up comic guy who can also do rom-coms because he has great timing and he's all loose and he's smart and he's fun to be around. And I was stiff and not funny and felt so, and said one day Patrick Warburton should be playing this part. Took me up on it. They didn't fire me, but they phased me out.
But you were so great in it because I totally disagree. I think you were very funny on it, and maybe that was like the secret sauce because you only had one or two scenes or whatever. But like maybe that's just what it takes to get you in the groove of knowing where else you could go in the funniness. You know what I
Well, I'm
mean?
very proud to hear you say that. Thank you, young man.
Oh, I think I'm a stand-up comedian, so like comedy's my life. So I know what's funny, and I'm
Oh,
telling
then
you.
I'm proud to have heard you say that. Thank you.
Yeah, so yeah. Speaking of funny, I wanted to ask you, do you, because you've done so much work, do you kind of know your movies, like all of them that you've done, or do you kind of like, I don't remember because you've done so much?
All the ones that I make 1 to 3 day appearances in and out very quickly, I do not remember them unless I had a relationship with somebody on the set. But
Okay.
all the ones that I really acted in, I was involved in, sure, I remember them like love affairs. Like
Oh,
some are stronger than others, but they're all there. And some are mistakes. Oh my God, why did I do that? And some are like, that was so great. It's like little love affairs, all of them.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you said that some of them are mistakes because I wanted to ask you, like, as an actor, like, I mean, I don't know if it's a money thing or like whatever, but I don't think any actor makes a project to have it be bad. You know what I mean?
No,
I
you
think,
don't. But you do go into certain projects that this doesn't stand a chance.
yeah.
You go into those artistically, any chance, economically, it doesn't stand a chance. And you kind of know that a lot of times going in. But you're in there because your wife asked you to make this movie for a friend.
Oh my God.
One thing. So
Yeah.
you say, okay, I'll help this student filmmaker become a filmmaker, and you can't. You simply can't. And so, they are mistakes. They
Yeah.
are mistakes.
Well, I'm not going to ask you to do my film because I'm sure it's going to be a mistake. I want to ask you when it's
Oh, no,
like
no, 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 no.
I want to ask you when it's Oscar worthy. You know what I mean?
Okay. I will respond Oscar worthiness wise.
But I'm hoping you remember this movie. I want because one of my favorite films is National Security, and I wanted to like, how was that? Like that was because that's such a great film, you know?
Let me give you two personal stories that have to do with that film. My next door neighbor for many years, for a generation of years was, well, not my next door neighbor, but in the neighborhood was Chris Walken. So he and we had the same manager. So we're great friends. And he's the best cook I've ever met who is not a chef. Anyway, I love Chris, and Chris and I have met in 1970 in December of 1976, and they've been
Oh my God.
ever since. I was a child. He was barely a grown up. Anyway, he played one of the James Bond movies, I believe, with white hair.
Yeah.
And I thought, if I play that kind of insane bad guy, I'm stealing that from Walken, and I'm going to do my hair white because I love the flamboyant look of it. It was so cool. Okay, so that's one personal story of why I had white hair. The other is, so it's a huge movie. It's got this gigantic, ridiculous, insane budget of like hundreds of millions of dollars. It's like, oh my God, I'm in this monster. So,
You're
so
like, this one has a chance.
yeah, possibly. So I like show up early every day, ready to make a movie. All right, I'm the bad guy. Fun. And every day, an hour to 3 hours late, comes our star, and he's always late. So we're all waiting for him. And about half the time he does it, he beelines for me when he shows up. Hey, what's that? As if we just got through partying all night. Hey,
Yeah.
anyway, and I'm like, don't bring me into this. Anyway, it was so much fun working with Martin, and he's fantastic all day long.
Yeah.
He just works his ass off as a comic, and he's just, as we all love and respect, he is miraculous.
Yeah. I mean, see, so like, because I want to be an actor, but kind of feel like since I started doing stand up, I've kind of drifted towards that and I just focus on stand up. But I feel like a thing that a lot of people don't know is a lot of stand ups are actually very good actors. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that's
Well,
just,
to become a good actor, you have to get totally into what's here, and everything out there is gone.
yeah.
It's just here. And so it's very self-involved, but it's a controlled self-involvement. It's very focused. And if you find out how to do it, you're going to blow people away. It's just a
Yeah.
little trick, and it's a very hard, big trick. But if you can do it, you're a good actor. And if you're a good actor, people are going to hire you because there aren't a lot of us.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I wanted to ask you, like, I kind of gotta be a little question with this question because I don't like throwing names and stuff. But as an actor, have you ever worked with someone that, like, you're like, oh, this guy has, because you've worked with everybody. You're like, oh, this guy's gonna be a major star, do important work. And then have you ever worked with someone where you're like, oh, this guy has no talent, but then like you find out he's in everything.
I've worked with both of the above, but I cannot give you names on both of the above because it would cause me issues. But
Yeah, yeah. But you have had that feeling, right?
oh yeah, dude. Sometimes you get on a set, especially when you're fooled. You met the person, you've even read with them maybe, and you show up on the set and they're a complete self-involved asshole, and they don't give a shit about your existence or your participation in the project. And you're like, there's a wall there because that happens a lot. It's not unusual. Happens a lot, and you're kind of heartbroken because
Yeah.
as I've told you, I remember them as the love affairs. So when you have an issue like that, it kind of f's up the love affair, and it kind of makes it, it kind of takes away from the intimacy of the love
Yeah.
affair. And so, that does happen. That's probably happened a dozen times in my life. I've had a long life, so it does not happen often, but it
Yeah.
does happen. Yeah.
I think that's just so fascinating because I feel people don't like when they watch TV or a movie or something, they don't realize that the journey it takes, because like you said, people think, oh, you're a movie star, you're rich and famous and stuff, but people don't realize the journey that it took to get to that part or whatever. And each part is a different part of your journey. You know what I mean?
And that journey has built-in sufferings. That journey has built-in walls. That journey has like built-in torture.
Yeah.
Also has the opposite, but it has really crappy things built into the journey, and everybody has to go through it. You're not unusual when you suffer, and you can't even bitch about it because it's everybody's story. So why act like you're effective? You have to pretend you're not. But we're all going through the same crap, and it's hard. But after you do transcend it, after you do get through most of it, because it'll never all go away. But after
Yeah.
you get through most of it, it is so satisfying. And when you have what I have in my life, you're so quietly proud and quietly thankful and quietly appreciative.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I wanted to ask you, like, not taking the 1 day shoots because those are probably hard to remember, but when you get a movie script and you read it, does the director, the writer, like, if you ever go on and say, hey, I think I should kind of change this dialogue just a little peak so it can make me feel like this character, have they ever given you their blessing or do they kind of give you a hard time on that?
I've had both of those things happen. Two very famous movies that it's happened probably 2 dozen times that I've changed as the character was written into something completely different. Like he's like from New York, I want to play him from Alabama. That
Yeah.
complete opposites. And that's happened probably 2 dozen times, but I've only had an altercation with it once.
Yeah.
And the Pope of Greenwich Village. I got that script in January of that year. It said, pick apart Polly or Charlie with the book and the script. So I read the book, I read the script, I picked Polly. I,
Right.
I told the producers. They said, we wanted you to pick Charlie. I said, why? So he's a handsome leading man. We thought that's where you go. This guy's a tough New York thug. I said, yes, he is, but he has much better dialogue, and I like his personality. However, he's a tough New York thug. I don't want to play that. That's been done to death. I've done it
Oh,
to
yeah.
death. I want to play a guy who wants to be a tough New York thug, but is not. He's a mama's boy who doesn't even know it, but he wants to be a tough guy. But he doesn't have the goods, but he has the love of the tough guy. And they say,
Yeah.
Eric, whatever you want to do, we're hiring you because we love your talent. You do whatever you want. That is January of that year. I take February, March, April, May, June, July, and August. The first week of September, I show up ready to go. I've dropped 30 pounds. I've permed my hair. I know my script. Let's make a movie.
Yeah.
I hang out with Mickey. We get along great. It's going to be a fantastic thing. We have 5 days of rehearsal before we start to shoot. On the third day of rehearsal, the director asks me to stay after. I do. He wants to speak to me. Okay. What's up, dude? Why are you so skinny? Well, I want to be a walking spaz attack. Why'd you perm your hair? Same thing. It's all a part of being a walking spaz attack. He says, what the F is a walking spaz attack? I said, John Belushi, only skinny. He goes, no, this guy's a tough thug. You're playing a sissy. I said, well, sort of, yeah. Well, what's the problem? It's working. He says, no, 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 this is not how it's written. If you're not going to change, I want you to resign.
He said that to you?
To my face this far away.
He said that to Eric Roberts.
He sure did.
Oh
I'm
my gosh.
nameless because he lost his job. Anyway, I go up to Mickey's room. I knock on Mickey's door and I say, Mickey, the director asked me to quit. What? So we called the producers. They fired that director that day. And they brought in Stuart Rosenberg, who directed a fantastic movie. And one other very famous change that had no altercation to it was in Runaway Train. He was written as another version of John Voight's character, only not quite as tough.
Yeah.
It said, we have two versions of the same guy. Can I play him very different? And also, he's in for statutory rape. if I play him younger and I raise his voice kind of high like this and talk like that, statutory rape sounds like a mistake, not like a crime.
Right.
And it'll be a complete opposite of John's character, who's a murderer. Let's have these opposites attract each other in their needs to get out, and have this boy follow this monster through the snow. And they let me do it.
Oh my gosh. That's so fascinating. So like you have an eye too on how to change a character to your liking, which a lot of actors probably don't really have that exact same eye.
I think probably it's not that special because it's very self-involved. Because how do I want to play this? How do I
Yeah.
want to do this? How do I want to be seen in this? I think it's very selfish, but I think it's also very focused in its selfishness. And
See, I disagree on that statement because I feel that's with that story you told me, I feel you're just saying, "Hey, I want to be unique because this character's been done before." So I don't think that that's selfish at all.
I'll let you tell me that. Okay.
Yeah. I think that was a great move because that's you, doing what you feel in your heart on how to make the character, you know what I mean?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. That's a compliment. I'm not the best at I'm wearing a sports hat. I'm sorry.
I'm accepting that as a compliment, saying thank you. Thank
And then I wanted to ask you another a great piece of work you did. I mean, you probably get this a lot, but I love the Coca-Cola
you.
guy. That was great. But
Yeah.
my question was the one where you played a guy where you're dying of AIDS, and it was called "It's My Party." And I thought that was like such a great film that maybe came out before its time or whatever. Because if it came out now, everyone would love it. You know what I mean? And I just thought it was just so funny and beautiful, and it was just such a great story.
Well, it was a true story, is why it was truly great. It's a true story. And it was the man who wrote and also directed it, Randall Kleiser. It was his story.
Yeah.
And he was Gregory Harrison's character.
Oh,
And
really? Oh,
his lover who died. And yeah, that was cool, man. Because that was hard. That
yeah.
was hard, dude. And Gregory Harrison pulled off one of the greatest performances of my involvement in my lifetime, because that's a thankless character who deserts me because I have HIV. He leaves me as my lover. It's okay, dude, you're dangerous. Bye. And
Right.
it's rough. It's rough. And he made it work, and that you understood the guy, and you still liked him, even though it was a weird situation that was then very unique in our society.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that was so, well, like that, I guess that goes back to my question before is like when you get these scripts, like you could kind of tell what is going to make a difference to whatever time zone you're doing, right?
Well, I'm not that intelligent.
Oh,
I go very viscerally. My wife is, though. My wife's said to me when we got It's My Party as a possibility, you must do this film.
yeah.
And I'm like, but it's a lot of guys are up for it. Yeah, but you can get this. They're big on you, but they're also big on so and so and so and so. So you have to compete. You have to get ready. You have to do your homework. But this is a good movie for you. And she inspired me, and
Yeah.
I went after it. And I think the other two ended up not being available, but it's okay.
It's the luck of the draw, though. But like that's what I'm saying. It's all these signs that are going in, so it's great. You're making me feel like I need to get a wife now. Like this is such. I have four more questions. I want to respect your time. Is it
You have
okay
to
if?
count them. Just ask. It's all
Oh,
good. We're having a great
okay.
time. How are you?
I wanted to ask you about Runaway Train because when you got that, like, because you were the star of it, did it give you like kind of like anxiety or pressure thinking like, oh, I have to really carry this film? And, like, because like, how do you deal with that? You know what I mean? Even though you've starred in so many other stuff, but like it's Runaway Train.
Well, I was a huge John Voight fan uh, because of Coming Home. Coming Home will always be in my mind as one of the great performances of all time.
Yeah.
And I'm working with John Voight. How cool! I was excited. But that was the project that I told you about. That he was written as a tough guy, like John's character, only not quite as tough. He was a boxer, so he was a whole different kind of tough. And I said, no, if I'm gonna play this part, I want to play him completely different personality, completely different sounding, completely different. And Andre Konchalovsky's like, Eric, whatever you want to do, you do it. You're a brilliant man. You do whatever you want. You know, he didn't know accent from accent. He was Russian. He didn't care.
But he called you a brilliant man. That's like the best compliment.
Yeah,
He'd
he
be
did.
like,
He did.
I'm a brilliant man.
He was a cool guy to work for, and he gave me a lot of respect in a way I hadn't gotten up till that time. And
Yeah.
he was very likable for me. But he's a tough cat. He would have little tantrums, and he would scare people because he was very big, a lot of presence, very deep voice, very Russian, Russian royalty. His grandfather wrote the Russian national anthem, so he was that kind of guy. He was very Russian, cool guy to work for though. But anyway, he let me do that, and I went with it. And
Yeah.
John was so brilliant in that movie. John, people don't know this. John is 6'2", and he weighed like 175 pounds in that movie, but he has on a full body suit. That's the mass.
Oh
And
my God.
he looks like he weighs 250 pounds.
Yeah.
He doesn't, but it's a bodysuit. That's the actor in John. John's brilliant. Woo!
Yeah. Wow. That's so fascinating. Like, by like cars, I'm probably saying that word wrong, but
Kurosawa.
yeah, like the outfits and stuff and the suits and stuff, they probably have changed so much from today. Like now it could be made out of clay or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like that's just
Yeah, John suffered an artistic suffering. John was one of my favorite actors I've ever worked with just because he was so committed and we were in such rough terrain, rough conditions, excuse the word,
yeah.
and crappy conditions, dude. Every day, all day long.
Yeah.
But we kicked its ass.
And then I wanted to jump into producing because it says you've produced a couple of your films, and I wanted to know, like, I feel a lot of, people like in my situation, they don't really know what producing is, and I was wondering if you could elaborate on what it is.
Producing is you're accepting all the economic headaches and all the fears of your director and all the fears of your star, and you're making everybody cool.
Yeah.
If you don't, you're not doing a good job because that's your job. And you have to be responsible for everybody like their mother, and yet you're economically responsible for the guys who are bringing in the money.
Yeah.
So it's a tough job. You have to be a grown up. I'm not a great grown up. I have the wife who gives me hints into growing up dumb. But so I have to act that part a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we have to get this done, kind of stuff. And I do. But it's not my love. It's not my passion. It's not my desire. Sometimes it's a need. And so a couple, 3, 4, 5 times I've done.
Yeah.
But I'm an actor. And I've been offered even to direct 200 times. Not interested. Sorry, guys. I'm not the boss.
You just want to be the guy who's bringing this. Yeah.
I love being the employee. I love being told what to do. Ask my wife. I'm not, but I'm not. I like to be told what to do. Eric, just do it better. Okay, you got it, dude. I love a challenge. I love doing it. I love having people go, oh my God, I didn't expect that. I love that. I live for that. That's my thing.
Yeah, that's so great because like I once told a lady I was a producer, and like the next day she saw me at Ralph's and she's like, "Oh, I thought you were a producer." I was like, "Oh no, I work in the produce."
Boo.
So now I wanted to jump into a couple questions about Eric Roberts. I wanted to ask Eric Roberts, outside of your acting, just in your personal life, what is your biggest fear that you have, and do you still have it when you go to these jobs and stuff?
As far as work goes, I have no fears. I have challenges sometimes,
Yeah.
and it's just tough. Whoa, that person's tough. Whoa, that person's not understanding what I mean. Whatever it is, I have challenges, but I'm fine with them. The only hiccup I have, working wise, personally, professionally, indoors, outdoors, in a car, on my feet, whatever it is, all day, every day, is death. I turned 50 many years ago. I turned 50. And I wake up that morning and I realize I'm not young anymore, but I'm not old yet, but I'm not young anymore. but I'm more than halfway through my life, and I'm much more than halfway through my career. Oh my God. I still look 38 at 50, okay, that's cool. But then, but then since then, 18 and a half years have passed.
Yeah.
And every day I think of death. Every day I think of my mortality. And every day I realize I am mortal and I have accepted it. And if I dwell on it really seriously, like I think of my two granddaughters or who live across the street, that's why I'm bringing them up. I can cry because I know I won't be there to see them be what I am.
Yeah.
How is that possible? It is not. So therefore, I find that tragic. I find the fact that we spend our lives getting good at whatever it is we want to get good at, and then we give it up with death. I find that to be unfortunate. And and having grandchildren now, I see hope every day I see them. And
Yeah.
I see love every day I see them. I see wonder every day I see them. I see happiness every day. I see frustration in that great 6-year-old level every day I see her. It's just wonderful. And it fills me with joy. But it also fills me with the understanding I am a mortal man. I'm gonna go. See you guys. And that is unfortunate. But we're all
Yeah.
in the same boat. We don't get out alive.
Yeah, I mean, I unfortunately that's true, and I think that everyone, if you ask them seriously, they might say they do have a fear of death. But like my best friend was Norm Macdonald, and I toured with him, and when he did, he was like my dad, and then when he died, it really hit me, and I would say like now my biggest fear is not dying, but it's the fear of what if I never get to see the people I've lost to hug one more time, like they say. And like that kind of goes into religion, and that's like a totally different conversation, but it's still a fear that people
I
have.
understand exactly every syllable you just said, pal.
Yeah. So yeah, man. And then my final two questions I wanted to ask you, Eric Roberts. Even though I'm not a famous star right now, so like I can't do anything to actually help you, but if I ever get in that situation where I could, what is one favor that I could do for you to help you? What would you like me to help you with?
That's the biggest question an interviewer has ever asked me, which is
Huh.
pausing because I want to give an honest answer, not a flip answer. And because it's a big deal question. And oh my God, if somebody laid that on me, who was not just an interviewer, but said that to me in life, I'd be like, God, I don't know, call my wife. Ah, bah, bah. It's like, wow, thank you. Thank you for that question because it 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 makes you think of your honest self. You have to answer that question honestly. I don't know.
Yeah.
I do not know honestly because I could cry that you asked me that. It's so overwhelming because I never felt anybody cared.
Yeah.
Not that I dwelled on it because I haven't. But now that you ask it, damn, I've never been asked that.
Well,
Yeah.
well, next time you do it, you could answer it. And if
There
I'm
we
more
go.
if I'm more famous, I could do that favor for you.
We'll take a rain check on it. Thank
All
you.
right, cool. And then
One
my
more.
last oh, I'm sorry, what?
You said you had one more.
I had one more question, and I wanted to ask you this because I was watching a this actually has nothing to do with you, but I wanted to have your opinion on it. I was watching a documentary about the pyramids on how these pyramids like came into the world, like Stonehenge and the Egyptians and stuff. And the truth is, we really don't know how. And I wanted to ask your opinion, like, what's your opinion on how these were made?
Well, I have an opinion, and it's
Ah,
a complete opinion, and it's a devoted, dedicated opinion, but it's not going to be a popular opinion. And that scares me because I don't want to be weird and unpopular in weird and unpopular ways. But it was built by some other being other than Earthlings. Of course it was. Look at it. Look at the time it was built. It had to be. There's
yeah,
no other way. You don't have 10 million slaves, you have 1,000. It would take 10 to 50 million people to build that by hand. They
yeah,
didn't have they didn't have the manpower, first of all. Second of all, look at it.
it's perfect.
Look at I know, I know. There you have it.
Yeah.
There you have it. There's your answer. I mean, if you have any other opinion, you're foolish.
Oh yeah.
As,
You want to hear my foolish opinion, Eric?
course I do.
Okay. So in the future, like, we'll be gone, with our loved ones and all this stuff. So in the future, like 5,000 years from now, right? They build these things called time machines. You understand, Eric? And with these time machines, they could go back and pass, kind of like Past in the Future. So that's what they do. And they build all this stuff. And then they go back to the future and they look at us in their time machine portal and they're just laughing at us because they think we're fucking idiots.
Okay, I'll let you do that. I'll let you do that, and I'll say possibly. Okay, that's how I'll get in on that. I'll say possibly. That's not my total understanding of what I believe. However, it overlaps in my belief. So I have some built-in credence for it. But it's a little silly to me because I don't believe in time portals. But what the F do I know?
Eric Roberts, thank you so much for being my new best friend for 45 minutes. Runaway Train, the story of my life so far, is out now. We're going to get people to buy it and stuff. And it was a true honor to talk to you and make you laugh. And thank you for doing my podcast.
Oh, thank you so much, you cool ass cat. I appreciate the time.
All right, Eric. Well, have a great day and say goodbye to Eliza for me. And we'll see you next time.
Come here, baby. Come here.
Oh.
Say goodbye on camera.
She's come. Hi, Eliza. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.
Hey, Patrick, you have to send love. We love him.
We
He's
love him so much.
Oh yeah. He's my adopted uncle. He's not my blood. Okay.
We have many of those.
You have to see The Civilization of Maxwell Bright.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
They got to see it. He's
Patrick,
remarkable.
Patrick and Eric.
You were in it. Jennifer Tilly was in it.
Yeah.
And then, but you gotta watch Rock Slide. You were in it.
Oh, yeah, Rock Slide. No, well, I don't know if you have to watch Rock Slide, but anyway, you're amazing. You're such a star yourself, and you're so funny. Oh my god.
Oh, well, thank you so much, and I appreciate you guys. Have a great day.
Okay, you too, sweetie.
Peace out.
Bye.
All right, bye. All right, guys, that was the interview with Eric Roberts. Subscribe, rate, review, and we'll see you guys next week on Reza Riffs.